Welcome to the first annual Gamers Blend, because games I happened to play this year that I liked was too long of a name. You see, I often get to games fairly late, or at least not in the year that they come out, so a typical Game of the Year celebration would be very short and underwhelming. That's why it's just games that I happen to play. But first, let's have a nice year in review. I discovered that the logo for Quantic Dream kinda looks like the Cologuard logo. And that was the year in review. As I said, the games could be from many different generations. Sonic generations, even. No, just kidding, it didn't make the cut, but I thought the transition was kinda neat and I wanted to use it. The actual number 10 is a much higher budget game. SNKRX, or as it's known on the streets, SNKRX, is like if Snake had a roguelite baby. While the concepts put on display are fairly simplistic, I like the wacky combos you can put together and the variety of classes that add up to an experience that has a fairly decent amount of meat on its bones. It has a really nice feeling of progression. When you start out, you'll feel like an ant, but towards the end you should be making the onslaught of enemies explode into thousands of pieces. And it's only $3, so that's pretty cool. Katana Zero is fast, flashy, and full of personality. This is one of those games that can make you feel like the coolest person alive. The kills just feel so crunchy, and the slow-mo effect is so smooth. However, the game throws a curveball at you by actually having a pretty good story to go along with it. In its current state, however, I need to dock it a couple of points because the story isn't complete. The developer said that they're going to add some free DLC though, and honestly, I can't wait. As it stands though, you're still getting a polished, adrenaline-pumping, action-packed extravaganza. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? Bowser's Fury is the nicotine patch for 3D Mario fans as they wait for the next big boy. The game is short, sure, but it's pure quality over quantity. It feels like the love child of modern Mario games. You have the movement of 3D World, the tight level design of Galaxy, and the openness of Odyssey. You can just lose yourself in all the different objectives as the game strings you from one cat shine to the next. Oh yeah, everything is a cat, which can lead to some interesting and unexpected results. And if you're on the fence about getting it, it comes with 3D World, so you have no excuse now. Go get the game, go get it. Warioware Get Together is my first Warioware game, so I have no idea how it stacks up compared to the others. What I do know is that it is a weirdness machine gun. It is non-stop craziness, which suits it well as a party game as well as a game that people can just sink their teeth into and get good at the individual micro games. You'll be catapulted from one bizarre experience to the next without any time to process that you just plugged a giant nose with a jumping ninja girl. It can be played in long sessions, or you can just pop it in and play for a few minutes. This game has not only captivated me with its off-the-wall attitude, but it has also gotten me to want to play some of the other WarioWares. Look, I can barely even talk anymore. That's how cool it is. Metal Gear Solid 5 is still a polished gem to this day, gameplay-wise. They kind of throw the story to the side and let you focus on the real appeal of the games, the goofy stuff, and honestly, best decision. This is a really good game. Go get it. Dragon Quest XI and the Tale of the Never-Ending Title is not going to revolutionize JRPGs, but it is a chonker of a game. There's just so much content for people into these sort of things. I also really like how the story is structured. While there's an overarching plot, it usually takes a back seat to the side stories. It feels like you're playing as the Mystery Incorporated gang in a fantasy setting, and it also really helps negate the sense of tedium that tends to plague these longer games. This game also has Sylvando, who is now one of my favorite characters ever. He'll be like, "Hey honey," and then boom, you're dead. Sylvando is awesome. I remember in lower school, where our game access was relatively restricted. Game sites tended to be blocked, but there was one important exception: cool math games. Now, the games on here were related to math in various degrees, but I remember only really one game vividly: and that's Bloons Tower Defense 3. So it brings me a childlike joy to say that Bloons Tower Defense 6 is an absolute bop. It's tower defense heaven combined with monkeys. As an aside, why don't more games have monkeys? Please, I will probably get your game if it has funny monkeys. Thank you. Guilty Gear Strive is so awesomely stupid that it's stupidly awesome. I won't linger on it too much since I already made a video on it, but I do want to bring attention once again to the characters. I can be battling as a serial killer doctor against a dolphin anchor lady. I've also been enjoying the characters they've added, even if I'm not nearly good enough to play them. Amore is a masterpiece. I know I've said it a bunch of times, but it is. I realize that psychological horror, quirky RPG sounds like one of the most run-of-the-mill Steam games you could conjure up, but this game is quality. The focal points are the characters and the story, which are masterfully crafted. The game got me to legitimately care about everything, which is really hard to do in a video game. But alas, another masterpiece stole the show for me, as well as my heart. There are a lot of roguelikes and roguelites out there, but The Binding of Isaac Rebirth has always been the king in my eyes. And while Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus add some content, they didn't really have much of an impact on me. Repentance is Rebirth 2. I shouldn't even need to say anymore, but I will. The game just adds so much to the formula that it feels like an entirely new experience. You know, it adds 2 more characters and that's fun, but spoiler alert, that's a lie because each character has a tainted version for you to unlock. And these aren't just simple stat or item changes, these are flat out new characters. And while it's a much harder and fresher experience, it still retains what made Isaac great to begin with. Repentance is all about celebrating what makes this series great. And really, there's a lot to celebrate there.